Hide your kids, hide your wife. The fun police are here. I can see it now. People in the comments upset that I'm concerned about something that could happen in the future. If you're not concerned about it now, you will be soon, I promise. Bookmark this. Come back in a month. Tell me how you feel. Today on Whiteboard Wednesday, the MLB The Show series that includes absolutely zero gameplay, we are talking about the new Carlos Santana switch-hitting captain boost and why I think it is an utterly terrible thing for the future of this game this year. I am concerned. In the remaining minutes of this video, you will understand why I feel the way I feel. We will talk about captains, good captains, bad captains, and then Carlos Santana, and why I think he falls right in line with some of the historically overpowered captains that we all hated so much in MLB The Show 23. So sit back, enjoy the ride, and hit that subscribe button. So at the time of recording, you can obtain this Carlos Santana simply by buying a 40,000 stub captain pack in the show shop. And in all honesty, this card is fantastic. He is my catcher right now on my God Squad without even activating the captain boost, because as my team is currently constructed, I don't think there's another switch hitter on there. But he is a 95 overall. He is simply excellent. Who cares about defense? You're not going to worry about it anyway because nobody really steals bases in this game very much. But this Carlos Santana, out of this world, fantastic card. The issue begins when we start talking about the tier captain boosts, and specifically the third tier. Of course, that's the best one, but we're going to go through all of them. In the first tier, all you need is 7 switch hitters on your team. By the way, there are switch hitting pitchers, like Adam Ottavino, that count for this boost. You get +5 contact versus right, +5 contact versus left. Pretty benign, nothing crazy. But it gets better. Once we hit tier 2, we start factoring in batting clutch. You get +5 batting clutch on top of +8 contact to both left and right when you have 10 switch hitting cards on your team. The batting clutch boost is specifically helpful right now, at this point in the game cycle, where we are still not at really wholesale godlike cards. Any little bit of clutch can really help a card out. Then we get to tier 3, where it gets really juicy. You get +12 contacts to both sides, +10 batting clutch, which is huge, and then +10 BB per 9 if you happen to equip guys like Adam Ottavino onto your team. I will acknowledge the fact that most tier 3 boosts, generally speaking, are larger. +15 is typically the number we see, instead of +12 and +10. I think SDS did a decent job acknowledging the fact that this boost was going to be really overpowered. They just didn't do a good enough job, because I still think it's ridiculously overpowered. And it might not appear overpowered just yet. A lot of the switch hitting cards are very expensive, or they just simply aren't that great yet. But just you wait over the next couple weeks, I guarantee things are going to get real scary real fast. It is not hyperbolic, though it is also potentially hyperbolic, that this has disastrous potential. Ranked seasons is already sweaty enough. I don't even know what a platoon matchup is anymore because pitching's impossible. Now it's just going to be a nightmare. Every single game. Get ready. Up to this point in the game cycle, captains were handled really well. Really smartly. Much better than the crap that was MLB The Show 23. The captains were meta, but they were reasonable. Like the Buxton boost, the Arenado boost, the Kodai Senga boost. I've been told certain theme teams are very good. Like the Yankees boost. I have Don Mattingly. I've equipped him. I just haven't run the guys out there in ranked yet. But the boost is nice. It looks good. Even the captain cards that were released at the same time as Carlos Santana. Let's call them his captain brothers. Trevor Hoffman, Mark Pryor, David Ortiz, Seiya Suzuki, Clayton Kershaw. I did that by myself without cheating. Those cards are very good. Their boosts are very strong. But they're just not the same as having a switch-hitting captain. That breaks everything. SDS learned from their mistakes in 2023. And that's all you can ask of a person, a company, a franchise, anything like that. They learned that overpowered captains, Cal Ripken Jr.'s durability team, Jimmy Rollins' shortstop secondary team. It's not good for the meta. It's not good for the game. And most importantly of all, it just gets boring to see game after game after game. This whole game, theoretically, should be about lineup building and lineup diversity. By having overall superpowered meta captains, that throws diversity out the window. And that's what I'm worried about happening again. I have an opinion. Call it a hot take. If you disagree, that's fine. We're allowed to have different opinions, but please, let's talk about it in the comments. I'd love to have a conversation. I do think the Carlos Santana switch-hitting captain boost is overall going to be worse for the game's health than Cal Ripken and Jimmy Rollins boosts It's not gonna work. I cannot foresee a world in which people don't get sick and tired of this. Here's the main reason why I think it's gonna be worse. And hear me out. Use your heads. Use logic. I know that's hard for the internet sometimes, but let's try. You can manipulate attributes, right? Byron Buxton, you need to have X this and X that to qualify for his team. Nolan Arenado, your speed has to be, 45 or lower, or 40 or lower, or something like that. You can manipulate those attributes. You can give new cards a smidge over it or a smidge under it to make sure they qualify, or they don't. SDS does that all the time. We get mad at them sometimes for doing it, but we know they do it. It is a possibility because they can build their game however they want. What you can't manipulate is who's a switch hitter and who's not, because it is just a fact of their existence as a ball player. You can't release a 99 sick as all hell Mickey Mantle and be like, oh, this one's not going to be a switch hitter. That's not how it works. What they could theoretically do, I guess, is tank the attributes on said switch hitters so they don't become Jesus Christ on a baseball field when you pair them with the boost, but I don't think that's fair either. Either way, I just don't think there's any avoiding switch hitters and putting them on this team. I don't see a possibility. As I said before, pitching is already hard enough. Take it from the person who releases how to pitch with videos every single Thursday, and generally actually does pretty damn well. I think you should check those out if you've never done so before. But now, there's no such thing as matchups. Sure, you can play platoon splits, I suppose, but same-handedness, competitive pitching to bat, I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but you know what I mean. Lefty-lefty, gone. Righty-righty, gone. C'est la vie. It's now all about the switchies. With foul balls through the roof, and RNG through the roof, and all sorts of other challenges, I don't think we need to make hitting any easier than it already is. I feel like that's what SDS is trying to do. There will be some switch hitting cards for sure, available to use at the start of a new season, making a wildcard Santana pretty viable. I do think, however, he exists more so in the middle of a season when the cards and the power starts to creep up again. Either way, even if we go 2 or 3 weeks without Carlos Santana, don't be fooled. He's not going anywhere. You're going to see him until the end of time. I want to make something clear also. This is by no means a knock on anybody who enjoys using switch hitters or who already runs a switch hitter team. Totally fine. Switch hitters are an inherent advantage, and if you play better with them, go right ahead. I mean, listen, I'll use a switch hitter if I think it fits my lineup. I'm a fan of switch hitters as well. I just don't think a captain needed to be added to the mix. Switch hitters are already advantageous in every single matchup. I don't think we need to make them better. So now it is your move, SDS. I am so curious to see how you handle the Carlos Santana switch hitter boost. I don't expect you to limit the amount of switch hitters given to us within the game. That would be equally as unfair. But I do expect you to monitor the usage and the numbers of this boost. Does plus 12 end up being a perfect number? Should it be less than? Should it be more switch hitters on the team? I don't know. This is what the data is for. All I am doing here is presenting a concern, because I think this has potential to be worse than Ripken and J-Roll. And I cannot reiterate that enough. I can almost guarantee most of you listening to this and still listening to this really don't agree with me at all. And that's fine. I had a feeling this would be a pretty controversial video to make because people like fun. Why wouldn't I like fun? And I understand. So you know what you should do? You should let me know how much you disagree in the comments. Why? Because comments are great for the YouTube algorithm. And we're trying to grow this channel here, baby. So hit me up. But seriously, thank you all for making it to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed another installment of Whiteboard Wednesday, and I hope you're having fun with the game. This last content drop on Friday was actually really, really good outside of this captain boost. And so I think there's hope moving forward for the future and the success and the viewpoint of the player base. I think there's hope. So thank you guys again. Love you all. See you next time.